All right. Welcome everyone to the Survivor UConn Episode 3 post show. We're very glad to have some guests here tonight, as well as last episode's boot. So first, let's start off. Have everyone introduce themselves clockwise. Obviously, I'm Ryan. I'm the host of Survivor UConn, and I am excited to start off this post show.
Yeah. I'm Ethan. I hope y'all maybe recognize me at this point. And a producer here at UConn and a secret host in the future. So we'll do that later. But yeah, glad to be a part of this again.
What's up, everybody? I'm Cooper from Survivor Michigan. I played on season 1, then got to host seasons 2 through 4, so you might recognize me from that. But yeah, super excited to be here to talk about the episode. It's been a great season so far, so thank you guys for having me on.
Hi, I'm CJ. I'm from season 1 of Survivor UConn, and happy to be here, and definitely happy to talk about the episode.
All right, so to start off, per usual, we're going to do a quick interview with the last episode's boot. So let's start off. Let's bring in Neil.
Hello.
Neil, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
All right, Neil, so I got a few questions for you based on the last episode and your experience in Survivor UConn. But first off, how have you been since season 2, since you were voted out? What's new in your life?
What's new in my life? Well, after season 2, I just joined a bunch of random clubs, so that was fun. Work got more stressful as well, so that's also fun. But I don't think much has really changed too much.
Are you still, I think it's environmental engineering? Still environmental engineering? Okay, glad to hear it. Hope it's going well. All right, so Neil, let's get things started off. So for you, you joined the Vertifoy, the Blue Tribe, and you were kind of like a last-minute call-in. So you were like the 5th person to join that tribe. Do you think joining that tribe late, obviously it wasn't that late, it was still day 1, but do you think joining that tribe late affected your game position at all?
I would say that I didn't know what I was doing the whole time because I was just called in. It's all right, I'm here. Now what? So I didn't really have a plan or anything, and I guess that would affect it in that way.
So in general, this Blue Vertifoy tribe, it was you, Adj, Bijan, Matt, and Carolina. What were your feelings on this tribe in the first week or two before you lost the challenge? Were you feeling good? Were you feeling bad the whole time? Were you feeling kind of mediocre? Did you get vibes that you could be a target if you went to tribal? How was your experience on that tribe?
So my experience, pretty much, I loved everyone in my tribe. By the way, it was just kind of they're all chill, all nice. But when the game started and we hit the tribal, everything kind of started to show who was going for the win and who was just trying to say, oh hey, you're in my tribe and whatnot, or just kind of going with whatever it is. So I would say Bijan actually surprised me the most after watching the episodes. He seemed like the most chill and laid back one, but then once you camera cuts to him, it's he was scheming the whole time. It was oh, all right. And then once we got to tribal, I believe I said I felt lucky, but the whole time I pretty much knew I was going to get voted out. But I was saying maybe it won't happen. But yeah, I was kind of go big or go home, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Why you brought that up? You were just trying to will it into existence, maybe? Was that what it was?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that definitely threw everyone off.
Oh, yeah. At the very least, you scared Carolina. It cuts to right after.
I was just trying to make some drama
going on.
We love to see it. So I wanted to talk about the challenge, not the trivia challenge, but the one before that with the number puzzle. It seems like a few of your tribe mates talked about maybe you weren't the best in that. What did you think of that challenge at the time?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what they say. I didn't really contribute too much And I was just kind of like, maybe if I try this will contribute, but it just kind of like got in the way mostly. But
Do you think you would have been better off just like letting them do it, or?
I guess. Like, I don't really remember the specifics, but I just remember kind of like trying to add the numbers in my head as quickly as like possible, but it wasn't really fast enough. Also, just I guess an excuse I could use was I also just don't remember sleeping at all like that semester, so that was fun.
That was freshman year, Neil. It can't have gotten better.
Oh no, I had like pretty bad insomnia. It's gotten a little better.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so Neil, so the big thing about part of that episode was Andrianna Adge creates this group chat between you and their Alliance of Three. It shows in the episode, and then another one between that Alliance of Three and Carolina, and then you and Carolina kind of trade notes. So what was your game plan once you guys traded notes? Was it to get Matt on board and vote Adge? That seemed to be what it was in the episode. Do you think you could have done something different in that scenario, or do you think you were kind of dead up against that Alliance of Three?
Since I didn't really know what I was doing the entire game, and like people saw that, I was like, oh, he doesn't really know what he's doing. It's pretty much like a easy kick, more or less, or easy to like use. Since so my plan at the time was pretty much, okay, so these people are trying to play a game, so maybe if I get Carolina on board, maybe I can convince Matt, and that'll be enough to like cast someone out because it's the majority. But what I probably should have done was gone along with Matt, Bijan, and Adge, and just kind of like gone with the close, like, okay, this is like my time to vote someone out and like get their trust in me or whatnot.
Yeah, because it definitely seemed to me that Matt actually wanted to keep you. I think you and Matt like had a good relationship, but in our Alliance of Three, Adge and Bijan didn't. 2 against 1, Matt kind of lost out. So I feel like maybe if you built that relationship at least with one of Adge or Bijan, that could have got you through. But that at least possibly. So anything else you wish you would have done differently, or like a certain spot where you think you especially messed up or could have changed things?
I guess sum it up, more of like a team player, but also just like probably should have watched at least one episode of Survivor to like know what was happening. So just kind of showed up like, okay, what to do.
We try and tell people to. They don't listen.
There's a lot of planning that went into like all other people's plans, but like I just kind of winged it. It's like, all right, let's make as much drama as possible and just see where that ends up. But yeah.
You did make it fun last minute. I was so confused at Tribal, and I knew it was going to happen. I was like, wow, did Neil flip something? But no, it didn't seem to be the case. But yeah, ultimately, we were glad to have you, Neil. It was a fun ride while it lasted, but I hope you enjoyed your experience on Survivor UConn.
Did a lot. Very fun.
Okay, well, thank you, Neil. Feel free to stick around or leave if you need to. But other than that, let's get right into the episode. So, start off. We're just recapping the fallout of the last episode. Neil is out, and Bijan comments on how Neil obviously thought or spoke to that he was safe. He says, like, I'm feeling lucky. And I like the look on Carolina's face. She's like legit freaked out a little. But Bijan seems to be hoping for a merge, which I don't know about that. I feel like even if we had lost, we hadn't lost those 3 girls off the bat, were we ever gonna merge at 13 and 18-person season? What is this, Edge of Extinction? It's ridiculous. Why did they merge at 13 in Edge of Extinction? I guess because
they merged at 13, but Edge of Extinction was stupid because it's like you didn't have to make merge to be jury anyways. There were no rules.
Yeah, I guess that's a good reason they did it, because it didn't really matter. And then you'd have more people on the jury that actually made the merge. But right off the bat, we get into our new tribes. So the new pink tribe, named after Diana Taurasi, consists of Kiwan from the red Moynihan tribe, Bijan, Adj, and Carolina from the blue Vertifoy tribe, and Maddie and Alex from the green tribe. And then, so what do you guys think of this Taurasi tribe? Obviously, we see them a little less in this episode because they're not the ones that go to tribal. But what do you guys feel about the dynamics of this tribe? Who do you think is in trouble, and who do you think maybe had their position helped a lot from the swap?
Off the bat, Kiwan screwed. There was already the pent-up animosity from the first few rounds towards the Moynahans, and him being the singular Moynihan to swap onto this new tribe does not bode well for Kiwan. You've got Bijan with Adj still, so that's an ally for him, and then Carolina now with Maddie, so there's a potential like big dynamic there, a big group that could form out of that, and run until at least another swapper emerge safely in that group.
Yeah, I'll echo basically what Ethan said. I think Q1 is screwed on that tribe. Just the fact that there's now the other 4 original red on orange tribe over there. Basically, people know that none of them are going, and you really can't leave all 5 of them in till the merge. Like, he's just going to get cut. He just is. Like, he just got so screwed. But I actually think that who the swap helped the most was Carolina. In the fact that if they would have gone to another like tribe on that original tribe, it was probably going to be her. And now she has 2 other original blue people who she just voted with. She's got Maddie, who's also got Alex. So like if Q1 goes, she's basically in the middle of a 5-person tribe, it seems like. So this swap definitely helped her out the most for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I'm echoing the same thing. I mean, Q1's definitely in trouble. I also think, I don't know, like about Alex or whatever with the whole being left out of the Sawyer vote and stuff. So I don't know if that's gonna like him and Maddie are close or not. But if I had to pick someone else other than Q1 that's in trouble, I'd probably go with Alex just because of the whole Sawyer thing and the fact that they didn't vote together.
Oh.
Yeah, you go, Neil.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I was thinking, like, when I just, like, saw all of them, like, come together, I felt like someone was going to, like, flip sides maybe or something like along those lines. But wasn't really too sure. But it was kind of, like, really interesting to see it, like, all you know, they Carolina and Adj as well as Maddie, too. It was just kind of interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting swap. I mean, obviously, at least for this tribe, I think is a little more interesting and dynamic than the other ones. You have this pair of Carolina and Maddie who are friends, which we'll talk more to. We have Alex, who has 1 green, the other 2 green on the other tribes, but he's at least escaped likely a demise on that small tribe. And then you have Kiwan, who obviously is just being slammed by all those reds on the other tribe who seem, at least throughout this episode, pretty loyal to each other. And then moving on, we have the Kemba Tribe there after Kemba Walker, who had a good season this year. Go Kemba. He's doing well on the Celtics. I'm not a Celtics fan, but I'm glad to see Kemba have some success, and that's not on the Hornets. And then the Hot Orange Tribe consists of Robbie, Hope, and Barrett from the red original Moynihan Tribe. We have Matt, the lone blue from Vertifoy, and then Heidi and Shane, the 2 green Jaskilkas on this tribe. And then, so what do you guys think of this dynamic of this group off the bat?
Orange is not my color. It became the title of the episode. I agree for personal reasons, but also it was Shane who said it, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was right from the beginning. Orange was not a good color for him. Just because there's that wall of Moynihan, it just leaves so little flexibility unless there's a clear crack. So it puts Shane, just as the big personality that he is, just in a really tough spot at the very beginning of that.
Yeah, those 3 original red was just, they were not going to crack, and they basically went in and threw the challenge so that they could have Kira and have even more numbers, like that they were just like the other and they kind of have Matt too. So I mean, Heidi and Shane just got absolutely screwed over there as well, kind of like T1 on the other tribe. But yeah, obviously they took out Shane first, but if they go back, Heidi's in a tough spot.
I think the fact that the 3 original red didn't have to go to a tribal to start, I think that really helped because there's no real division there so far, and I think they kind of figured we could team up on the other tribes, and they're still in like team mode and not in individual mode, so I think that's really going to help them during this swap phase.
So right off the bat, we see the Moynahans. They decide. Yeah. Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, Neil, thank you for coming. Hope you have a great night.
Thanks for coming, bud.
All right, so the Moynahans decide they're going to throw this challenge so Kira can join them, and then they have this majority of 4 original red on this tribe. Obviously, as we see in the episode, at least in this episode, it seems to work out for them. But do you guys think this was a good decision long-term for this tribe? Do you think it was worth getting those numbers, or do you think this could still hurt them? Or do you think there was potential for this to hurt them and it wasn't worth it even?
I think it was 100% worth it. Like, to me, it wasn't necessarily big numbers on their own tribe. Like, they kind of already had that, but like, they kind of knew that people were going to gang up on that merge. So they couldn't really afford Kira to be on the other tribe in a bad position. I think that's what more so it was, because they just needed her to not be on the other tribe. So I loved it. Like, to me, it was smart. And like, if the other tribe loses, Kiwan probably goes, and then Kira's over there in the same position, and then they're down 2 red, where now they saved Kiwan and Kira's with them. So I thought it was a great move personally.
Yeah, I think the key there is Kira because, like, you know, maybe if you go down 1 in the numbers, then, like, if you're down in the tribe numbers, then maybe you say, oh, we should just keep ourselves safe in case something happens. But the fact that you bring Kira in and you still have the majority, I think that was the key proponent in throwing the challenge.
I see the validity to it. I'm so anti-throwing challenges, though. I don't know. I think, yes, it helps them in this moment, in this swap setting. Now, after the throw and bringing in Kira, eventually they have the 4 Moynihan, and nothing's going to break that. But it doesn't make you any new friends, and it definitely makes people not want to be your new friends when you're throwing challenges and being so like rah red. For me, it's not great because it makes more enemies down the road, and it gives you fewer directions to go should a merge happen at some point when that does come around.
For me, I tend to not be a fan of throwing, obviously, because it can easily backfire. I agree with Cooper. I think if any time was the time to throw, this is the perfect storm for it. I think you have, especially for Robbie. Robbie has his tightest ally he would want on his tribe, you want by his side. He seems to have 2 red in Barrett and Hope that for now, at least, are pretty on board with doing picking off other tribe members. And it seems to me that he's in a very solid position for the swap. I think the problem comes in, like CJ said, Ethan said, it doesn't really bode well for other people if they recognize he's throwing, which at least Shane seemed to, and Shane mentioned, Heidi mentioned, I think Shane and Matt seemed to think there was a chance Robbie and the Moynahans were throwing. So, and then I think Andrea brings us up. Throwing challenge is not good. What if Shane or Heidi by some miracle found an idol? I mean, they seem to think they did, obviously, but as it turns out, no. But yeah, if there was an idol out there, it could be tough. But The only idle clue besides the one Robbie had found that was out there is really in the hands of Adge and Kira, who don't seem to be too concerned with Heidi and Shane's position. So I think in general, I would lean towards decent move, good move. Robbie and Barrett and Hope are pretty safe right now. So we get to the challenge, and CJ, you were in a little flashback there. Did you see yourself from season one?
That was
challenge.
Great challenge. I loved that challenge. It was so much fun.
Yeah, this is an awesome challenge. Has Michigan ever done this challenge, Cooper? The balancing a weight? Yeah, I think I saw it from I think it was in Terrapin Trials originally, is the college version of it, and then it was in Cagayan on the show. But always fun. It's always fun when someone flings it up in the air too. I always love that strategy. I feel like people never do it immediately. Every time I see this challenge, one tribe, it takes a tribe a bit to figure out, throw it up in the air, and you got all the time in the world to freehand it. So.
It blows my mind. Clearly, we get to watch it all. They have to think about it and do it in the moment, but it's never until like that 6th, 7th point, and every time someone's done it, it's worked. So I don't know why they don't try it every time. Just go for it.
I will say, as somebody who has played in this challenge before, it's harder. It's easy to say you're going to do it. It's much harder to be in the moment and to actually execute it. Because if the other person starts like seeing you do it, all of a sudden like they just like hide their thing from you and it's over. So it's actually much harder to execute if you're doing it.
I tried to be aggressive during it, and I used to try and like scare the person into like jumping and then dropping their thing before I did. That was my strategy going into it, but that strategy definitely could work.
CJ, you've also got the stretchy arm.
You have those long arms, CJ.
I know. It wasn't fair for whoever you won against in season 1.
Zubin says, wasn't the flashback I thought would be used? Yeah, we could have had Mark getting struck across the face. I think our editor, Cooper, used a more of a general demonstration than the comedic moment. But so throughout this challenge, despite throwing it, Kemba's kind of in it, like the whole challenge. They're in behind, and then they come from behind. I got to say, in terms of a throw, this was well executed. I thought it wasn't obvious just visually.
I agree.
I
swear Robbie they were down like 4-6, and he could have easily just like, I forget who he was up against. It might have been like Adge or somebody. And he like had a chance to just like throw and lose the challenge, and he literally won it. So like how Shane afterwards was like complaining that Robbie threw the last round against like Bijan was, I was just like, while I was watching, I was like, is Robbie actually throwing the challenge? Like I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, from what I know and what I learned afterwards, I think the Kembas realized when they were up, they decided, hey, let's win a few rounds and make it more interesting. Because I think, yeah. So, and then I think as long as they had one of the three that were involved in a throw at the end, which was Robbie, Hope, Barrett, and as we saw, Robbie was in that last round and finished the job. But I do think they could have fucked it up, because what if during the last round, Bijan just accidentally drops his cup? Like I felt like that was risky, just trying to sell it harder.
I thought the same thing. I literally thought they were going to win the challenge, and I thought it was going to be like a funny moment that like they actually by accidentally won, because it was so close the whole time. Like, are they actually going to win this? That's what I thought on watching it.
Yeah, when I was there filming, I was surprised that Robbie scored that point when it was either 6-3 or 6-4. I was like, do we actually know what's happening? They tell us, but do we actually know what's happening? So I thought it was a cool finish. Still mad that they threw.
Yeah, I think from a host perspective, it always hurts to see a throw, because it feels like a player that is being targeted in a throw is just kind of up shit creek sometimes, but I think it does have its dramatics sometimes. I think this episode was very fun despite that. During this challenge, there was a bit. I hear Shay in the background saying, "Is that a squirrel? Like, what is he doing? What is he doing, Ethan?"
He's being Shane.
Shane is the most intense challenge that he needed for his life.
He needed to win, right? Shane, for those who don't know him, is one of our better friends that we met freshman year. Great dude, love him to bits. But he is that, like, he is in 17 different directions all at the same time. His life is on the line, and he's looking at squirrels. But he's a very charming individual, regardless. We love him to bits for it all.
And so here we are, and Kira, so after the challenge, Kira, as the exiled person, gets a note, which ends up being the clue to the hidden needle, and has to choose one person from the winning tribe to share this with. And of her options, she chooses Adge, who is her friend from before the game. She's the person from Tarasi she knows the most. So what do you guys think of this decision? Obviously, Alex and Bijan seem to disapprove. Do you agree with them?
Yes. I'll let other people go first, but yes, I think it was the wrong decision.
I think it was a bad decision, but I don't think it was as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, on like levels of bad, it wasn't that bad. Like, could you give it to someone else? Sure, but like, at the same time, like, it could be a new idol that you also just don't want somebody else to have in the game. So, like, before you really know what you're giving out, like, you kind of want to make sure that it is somebody you trust. So, like, I see both sides of it.
Yeah, I see both sides too. I mean, she kind of got put in a tough position, kind of on the spot, and you guys are just like, oh, you got to go pick somebody right now. And I think she kind of got caught in a spot, and I think she just went like the safe route and at least pick somebody that she knew. Now we'll see if it comes back to bite her, but I don't necessarily hate it. I don't think it was a great move, but I can't necessarily say like it was a terrible move.
Right. Preface, I don't think it was like a game ender. I don't think that's a terrible move, but I think any chance especially in a college Survivor setting, we don't have reward challenges, so you can't curry favor through that. So any chance you have to talk to someone on a different tribe and make like new bonds, I think you should definitely try and take that opportunity to have more options. She was already good friends with Kira, so it just labels that as a duo, which is dangerous to people, instead of spreading that and creating new avenues for herself. So I think there were not a ton of damage done, but a lot of opportunities lost in that decision.
Yeah, I enjoyed that afterwards. Bijan was like, "She should have picked me. Why not me?" And Bijan, ever the bold one, to be like, obviously you should have picked me. And then I kind of disagreed with Alex here. Alex is like, "Oh, you should have reached and made new connections with this." But I feel like you don't want to make this new connection necessarily with someone that is not even necessarily going to work with you. I mean, I think her only really two options there are Adge or Kiwan, if she really wanted to like keep like a red connection. But honestly, I think that might have been worse, because all that would have done is solidified this red strong idea. And I think that's already possibly that's already a big thing right now with these 4 red that are going to be on one tribe after the episode, the Kemba Tribe. But yeah, so Adge and Kira talk for a bit. They don't look for the idol at all in this episode, but Adge doesn't seem super pleased to have been picked, but she's kind of just rolling with it. But so after this, outside after the challenge, Kira and Robbie decide Shane needs to go, and they think that because I think they briefly talked about Shane causing some drama in the group chat, and I think just as a tiny bit of added context, I would say that there was a little Green Tribe and Red Tribe chirping, kind of like I think of like steroid meatheads like yelling at each other because they're amped up about like a game, and I think it was Shane and Kiwan is what I would say, and I don't know, it's weird when people get like that. It's just a survivor challenge on a college campus. It's funny how competitive people can get, but so Robbie and Kira come up with the idea to have another clue that is supposed to be the clue that Kira got, which connects to this first idol location where they plant another fake idol. What do you guys think of more fake idols? Anders is reeling right now. If he were here, he would be crying.
I'm almost crying. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me to just keep creating like bigger webs of mistrust, because Hope was searching with them, and I don't know. It's just like this idea of like more fake idols shows that the real idol is out there. I don't think Barrett knew that. So now he does, that all of these clues point to the same spot and it wasn't a real thing there. It's exposing yourself beyond what you need to just to make a move that was already made. And I don't get it. I didn't in real time and I still don't.
I think it was hilarious. I don't know about game move, whatever. Probably not smart, but I don't know. As a viewer, I think it's just hilarious. Like I actually love Robbie. Like I feel like he probably doesn't get a lot of love from the viewers this season or the people on the season, but like I personally really like him just because he's there to like, at least he's like trying to play like the game and stuff. So that I appreciate. And just the fact that he's just like throwing fake idols at people basically is just funny. Like it's just funny.
Yeah, I loved it too. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily smart. Like I said, it's a little bit early to be doing that, but I mean, Robbie had never been to a tribal before, so maybe he was just getting a little bored and was like, let me go have some fun real quick before this go.
Yeah, it was definitely funny to see. Not for Shane and Heidi, obviously, but it seems like whenever he wants something to go his way or wants to throw people off, he's like, another fake idol. And so he already has his best ally, Kira, has a fake idol, and now he's trying to lead a person that he's about to vote out with a fake idol. And I think it's an interesting strategy. I think Robbie's intent, which was to make it so Shane and Heidi wouldn't campaign as much, didn't really work. I mean, they definitely, Heidi, I think, tried with Barrett to work something. They tried with Matt to work something. And then obviously Robbie was not someone they were really trying to work with, just because it seemed like Green and Red have this animosity that involves Robbie. But yeah, I don't think his intent worked. And I mean, obviously Shane doesn't survive, but regardless of the fake idol, would anything have changed?
No.
Yeah, I think it would have been the same votes.
Yeah, Matt swapping onto a tribe that involved Robbie and Hope, who were already a part of some cross-tribal alliance with him, definitely gave him that leverage to not be concerned. And Shane, I don't want to say he like made himself a target, but just he is so much energy that it doesn't. It can rub people the wrong way on a first impression. Plus, he did have the little flare up with was it Kiwan in the group chat? Is that what you said? I don't remember. It was
I think it was. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think the spot that Shane was in put him in such a position that it didn't matter what he pitched to Matt. Matt didn't want to go to a tie anyways. that does no benefit to him. So I think it was done and dusted before the idol. I don't think it added anything to that vote.
Yeah, I think a big problem with this tribe, which kind of puts Heidi and Shane in an impossible situation, is really, unless you can flip a red against each other, your only angle is Matt. And in some amazing universe where they get Matt to go to rocks for them, Kira is just going to go join the tribe, and you're going to have 3 reds. So there's really no point for Matt to work with these people. I think Heidi talks a little bit about trying to get Barrett to vote for Hope in some weird 3-2-1, which would have been cool or interesting if she somehow pulled that off, even though it wasn't meant to be. But then you just run to the same situation if you ever go into tribal again, where you have 3 red, and now it's Kira who's even closer to Robbie than Hope or Barrett. And you have 3 red, and then the blue and the green. You're still stuck in a bad spot. But let's talk about Matt a little. Because Matt was someone we talked about episodes 1 and 2, seemed to be well positioned on the blue tribe. What do you guys think of Matt and his new spot as the sole blue member on this tribe full of mostly red Moynahans?
I think he's fine for now, but this tribe swap did not help his long game at all. To me, it just it's going to make red stronger. He's going to be kind of clumped in with them going into the merge, but he's going to be on the bottom of them. And while all of his other blue people are getting closer with Maddie and whoever they're working with over there. So even if he hops back with them, now they've all had time to bond and he's on the bottom of that. So it basically just leaves him where he's got an okay shot to get to the merge as long as that tribe doesn't lose 2 or 3 more times. But wherever he is, he's not going to be in a power position coming into the merge. I just don't see that.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, I think it'll help them getting to the merge as long as they don't lose every challenge. But I mean, it is college Survivor as you talked about, so you can do stuff across tribal lines. So I think he's got to try and keep his old alliance together so that he doesn't get on the bottom or whatever of the old ones. So it'll put him in a spot where he's in the middle, which is good. But at the same time, being in the middle is good and bad at the same time.
I actually want to add one more thing to what I said. It might put him in a spot a swing position right at the merge, but whatever side he chooses, he's going to be on the bottom of. So I guess that's my other part of that. Yeah.
I think you guys are hitting the nail on the head. I think his best position in that moment, because you can make all of these plans for a merge and think so far ahead, but it doesn't matter if you don't make it there. So his best bet is to definitely buddy up with the Reds right now. And if he can, it's great to keep those relationships with Bijan and Adj that he has on the other tribe and whatever other connections he can foster. But it does, the position he's in right now, he has to be selfish and in that moment just all right, Reds, I'm your friend, I'm your fourth. I'll do what you guys need me to do. Just I need to get through this phase. Is his best position.
Yeah, it does seem like the dynamics of the game are really heavily dependent on this strength of these Reds right now, because they seem to be confident enough to throw a challenge for each other, and they have strength on this side and potential strength going forward. So I think it really is about integrating with those Reds, at least temporarily, and maybe finding a crack in them that can help you in the future. Because if there's some sort of way you can break up those dynamics or move into those dynamics in a way that is net positive, then maybe you can get something out of it.
Yeah, I think Matt's best bet is to be close with the Reds and then try and split them up at some point, more so than even playing both sides. Just try and create a crack if you can, and hope that it grows into something at the merge that you can build out of. But yeah, he's just sort of got to play from the fourth spot right now.
And you guys talked about playing the middle, and I think that is a very dangerous position this early in the game. Obviously, it's not that bad to be a swing vote at Final 7, Final 5. Those are great spots to have a little power as you set up your end game. But I think at the merge, when you're a swing vote, whichever side you pick, you're not going to have many friends on the other side if they were planning on you potentially working with them. And I mean, obviously, in a merge situation, there's a lot of game left. At Final 7, Final 5, there's not as much room to like be pissed off or try and vote that person out if you're trying to get to the end game. As CJ would know, we won't get into that much, but Final 5, was that a tight spot for you, CJ?
That's
I mean, ultimately making that decision.
Grandy's over here taking shots at me, but yeah, no, obviously it was tough. But yeah, the middle, like I said, it's a catch-22. It could put you in a good spot, but it could also take away some of your options.
So Shane seems to think Robbie through, and like Cooper said, I'm surprised he figured this out. I don't really know why he seemed to think so. I think Shane in general just seems to have it out for Robbie, so maybe he didn't have the right reasons, but was just like, yeah, that's something Robbie would do. But and then Robbie and Hope try to sell a Barrett vote to Heidi and Shane, and they don't seem to believe it at all, as they shouldn't. It doesn't really make much sense. And Robbie, and then they also like share this idol clue with them, like saying that we're gonna all search for it together. And Shane's like not putting up with any of this. Do you guys think like the way this was played out by the Reds was good, or do you think they really should have just like held their cards closer?
I don't know. I didn't mind it actually. The one thing that confused me was Shane and Heidi. You kind of have to say something to Shane and Heidi and throw Barrett under the bus, whatever. Like, they don't believe it, whatever. The game moves forward. What I was confused on was like, okay, you understand that they're probably lying to you as like Shane and Heidi, but why then do you like believe that the idol clue they gave you was real and then like go and believe that the idol you found was real? Like, those two things don't match up. Either they're like trying to work with you and they're like gonna vote out Barrett and they're giving you an idol clue, or they're like not, and that is definitely not a real idol clue. Like, to me, there's no in between there. Like, there's no world in which Robbie is like, yeah, we're gonna vote out Barrett, and is lying about it, and then hands them a real idol clue. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true.
At this point, I believe the combined episodes of Survivor that Shane and Heidi had watched was 2.
2, really?
Yeah, I think Heidi
there's even 2.
Not Shane. So I don't mean to like bash them on Survivor knowledge and reading what's happening to them, but they didn't have a lot of context to it. So I think that's part of how that can like get misconstrued, because clearly Cooper's played and hosted and knows what other people are trying to do in a game sense. But if you don't have any of that scope from before and you're learning as you go, that's a big lesson right there that gets handed to you in a hard way.
I still agree that's, even if you don't know Survivor, that's a logical conclusion to take away from that. I think for Shane and Heidi, once they did find it, there was a lot of hope and potential, and they just kind of got too carried away with that. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense one or the other. And I think just with the situation Heidi and Shane were placed in, they maybe vocalized it a little too much in confessional, that they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, idol. But that really was mostly their option besides this like 3-2-1 attempt. Okay, so we come to the Taurasi tribe, just a bit about them before we get to the meat of leading into Kemba Tribal. Bijan outlines the big players in the game. He's excited that the other tribe lost because he thinks they have most of the big players. And he considers those big players Robbie, Heidi, and Shane. Do you guys agree that they're big players from what you've seen right now, or do you think that's a bit of a wrong assessment? Who do you guys think are the big players / contenders in this game right now?
I think he spiked 2 of them. Robbie, as we all know at this point, everyone's already labeled him as like the biggest player in this game. Shane, maybe not all of it was caught on the camera exactly, but he's definitely the biggest personality of any of our cast. So I get why he would point a finger there. Heidi surprised me a little bit that he had her listed under that branch. But I don't know. Like that one caught me a little more off guard than the other 2. But Bijan's a thinker, so he's got his reasons for everything, and his reads are normally very, very good. So I put stock in what Bijan has to say.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine read. You could have maybe added Kira potentially. I don't know. We haven't gotten to see a lot of the Red Tribe because she never went to Tribal, but like I thought she could have been maybe the other person you could have like subbed in for a Shane or a Heidi, but that was about it.
Yeah, I was thinking definitely Robbie, as we all know, has been a big threat, very vocal. Shane too, just with his personality, I could see what he's saying. But I also thought Kira as well. I think she's definitely a threat, and like definitely shouldn't underestimate her without a doubt.
Yeah, I think from my guess is the reason he saw Heidi as a threat was because Heidi was one of those swing votes in that Sawyer vote, and Sawyer was someone that Bijan talked with early on. So my guess is from Bijan's perspective, Sawyer really seemed to trust in Heidi at this first vote, and then Sawyer was completely wrong. So Bijan maybe was a little impressed by that, is my guess. But brief chat from Alex. He says he's happy. He got a bit of revenge on Shane and Heidi. Won his 2 rounds against them after they blindsided Sawyer. So that was fun to see. Kiwan said his fencing skills came into play in this challenge. I didn't know Kiwan fenced. I totally forget. Does he seem like the fencing type? He's
honestly, I believe it. Kiwan could do it.
I believe it.
I just feel like he might.
Kiwan, if you could see in the episode, he has a scooter. He rides that scooter around campus. Big man on campus with the Razor scooter. And I like this part where Bijan is talking about how he's heard from Adj, who heard from Kira, that Kiwan might have the idol. And Bijan's like, fuck no, it's Robbie. He just knows that like Robbie is the type to have the idol. He's very type A, looking all night for it, and as we know, he is the one with the idol. And a bit of a section here. We come to this alliance that's formed on this pink tribe. That's between Bijan, Carolina, and Maddie. And we have a cute scene between Maddie and Carolina. It was very staged, but I enjoyed that. And they're like doing this in the hallway. And great line from Bijan, his alliance. He says, "We have the bronze and the brain. Both are me. And of course, I'm the beauty also." So love to see Bijan. Always cocky, always got something to say to hype himself up. But so far, I think he's proved himself to be worthy of the self-hype.
I love Bijan. I just want to throw it out there. I have nothing else to add. I just love the guy.
I could watch Bijan confessionals all day long.
Yep. Oh
he's such a great character. Like just like all of his scheming in the lab. It's just it makes for such a villain, and it's just he's amazing.
He from day one he knew, like, outside of playing the game, he knew he wanted to like embody that character. He was a confessional artist. It was a treat for all of them. He's hilarious, and just the way he presented it.
I love the way he like leans back in his chair and he's got like,
his evil lair. Like, he's like a villain like this the whole time. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
so that room that Bijan is in, Bijan had like a room in like the Q Center, which is like a tutoring area in the library. And I don't know if it was like through honors or TAing or stuff, but he was given this little like workspace room in the library that was like just for him, that he had like a key to. So I would like go and visit him, and we'd do like confessionals like in that room while he was there, like studying throughout the day. And it was fun because most confessionals are in my room, and you see the same chair in a lot of them. But Bijan had his own little spot, which I think adds a lot of personality to his confessionals. So that's it for the Pink Tribe for this episode. Actually, just to end off on, no, I'll skip that. I think that's not too important. So Kemba, we get back to Orange. Heidi and Hope are looking for this idol, and they're looking in the library, and they're looking in the books. Why are they looking in the books? They said something about a rock face, and then Heidi's like looking at a wall of books. Why would the idol be in the books?
I want to point out, hiding idols on a college campus is tricky because there's not 20 people searching an island for things, which is already hard. There's 20,000 people who could stumble across this and move it. So we have to like be cognizant of how we're hiding them. We explicitly told them everything was outside. We did not hide idols in the building, and they asked, and we answered, and they still then searched the library. Right
after I learned Heidi and Hope weren't searching the library, which was that day or the day after, I made another announcement that idols are not indoors. I would never put an idol indoors. Who would do that?
No, it's scooped up by a janitor.
You put an idol indoors, Cooper?
Yeah, we put idols indoors. If we like,
That's
if we
bold.
feel they're like secure enough that nobody's gonna like touch them or find them, if we find a good enough spot, we'll put idols indoors for sure.
That's bold.
I respect it. I think my main worry with it is, even if the idol wouldn't be found indoors, I don't want people tearing apart buildings, the insides of buildings looking for. But people tear apart the outside anyways.
Yeah,
that's always great idea. So fuck it. Yeah, maybe a consideration for the future. But for now, I am scared when people are digging through books and stuff.
Just contextualize. We give them a map of campus. We're like, nothing is outside of these bounds. We're not gonna like make you go a mile and a half away to find these things. Everything's within this colored fenced area, and it's outside. That's what we say at the beginning. That's it. No one listens.
Some do.
Some do.
But yeah. So Heidi ends up going to this rock wall where like Robbie originally found the idol, and she finds Robbie and Kira's second fake idol. For Kira, she thinks it's the first fake idol because Kira thinks she has the idol. So lots. Robbie's got like a food chain of fake idols here, and Heidi decides not to tell Matt about this idol. Do you guys think that was a good choice if she thought it was real, not to include one more person in on that, even though she was trying to get Matt to vote with them?
I think this was a bad call. I think she should have showed it to Hope right away. Like if her and Hope were looking together, like presumably they were at least sort of trying to work together somewhat. Like I don't know. And then like if you need Matt as a vote, like you got to do that. And if it gets out, like at least people think you have the idol and they're not going to come for you, or you force the other side to try to like split the vote, and then you can actually pull Matt in and get a 3-2-1, or like there's like options open up if she goes and tells a few people. So I just like, I didn't really understand that. Like her keeping the idol to herself was just like that voting round, like staying the course, and the course was like her Shane 100% going.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the whole thing was just so fun, just because like, I mean, I don't know why like Cooper was saying, I don't know why they would just believe Robbie like after they're targeting him and he's just throwing around like idols. I don't know why they would just like suddenly believe that, but I guess they were grasping on to straws. But I figured if you tell Matt, maybe if you can figure out, like, maybe you can cause a little bit of a breakup between the Reds, because even if Matt's working with the Reds, maybe he'll say, oh, Shane and Heidi have an idol, and it kind of causes some confusion, and, like, maybe they're going to try and split, and you can kind of work something out that way. So I agree with Cooper that I think it opens up a lot of options.
Exactly, because then at least they have to, like, tell Matt something. Like, they have to be like, no, it's not real. Like, we have it. Like, at least then, like, something else happens. Like,
yeah. No, that's the reason to do it. More so than like trying to even leverage a vote. You're at least confusing people and causing chaos that you can try and bounce out of. Because even if that was a real idol and they played it successfully and they're still there, like you mentioned earlier, there's still going to be 3 red and Matt that you're going against. So it definitely made more sense to try and stir the pot more so. So that, missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think the idea of telling Matt and trying to get Matt and the Reds to do a split where you can flip things around would be interesting, and then you actually could get that 3-2-1. I think in theory that's the best choice for Heidi and Shane. Whether or not Matt would have done it, I don't think so, because again, you're running into the situation where Kira is going to join the tribe. So regardless of if you pull up this crazy move, then you have 3 Reds still in the tribe. So I think it was absolutely have been worth the effort, though, and it's better than what they ended up doing, which is just straight up playing it. And so lastly, before Tribal, Heidi thinks the idol could be fake. I mean, at least she had some idea. This was filmed before Tribal, so I know sometimes we kind of stage the confessionals because we can't do them right on time because people have lives. But at least she had kind of an idea. It might not necessarily go as it did, but ultimately they roll with it, and Shane plays it, and it doesn't end up well for our boy Shane. So we get to Tribal, and just one of my questions I thought was interesting was, does anyone expect a swap? And Hope expected a swap, and no one else seemed to, which was a big score for me, because everyone always expects swaps. But I think I got him with the 13.
Mm-hmm.
No one expects the exile.
The prime number gets them.
But I think we had to do that at this point just because the small tribes got screwed by those girls leaving early season. Didn't want to leave them in small tribes too long, but also I wanted it to be more than 1 round, so I didn't want to do it 14, but I didn't want to wait till 12. I think if I were to do it again, I probably would have just swapped at 14 and got rid of the 3 tribes. I think that would have been better than the exile, because I don't love the fact that Red can do this throw and get Kira on. I feel like it makes it a little less dynamic. But also
was we had 18 to start. We were going to swap at 14 and then eventually merge at 11. Losing 3 people in 3 rounds like that definitely threw us for a loop. So it was not what we envisioned to do a swap at 13, but I think it was the right thing to do given the circumstances.
Yeah, I do think if we leave that as is and swap at 14, then even Blue doesn't have that break that they created with Carolina a little, and it's just the same thing. Maybe Blue's really tight, which isn't a good thing. But maybe our boy Neil would have survived. But I guess it's not meant to be for poor Neil. So we get to the vote. Shane played. First of all, Shane says orange is not his color, and it truly wasn't. When I ordered that orange, gotta say, I thought that would be like a brighter orange. It was very hot yellow orange. Not a fan of that color. Not my favorite. I love orange, but more of a deep orange sunset guy. So Shane plays the idol, and not going well for him. Him and Heidi are not pleased. I gotta say, I nailed that throw. Very happy about that. I knew the idol was being played, so I told our producer Dan, I'm like, Dan, set up the trash can in frame. We got to get this. And that tribal was indoors because I think the regular place we did tribal wasn't shoveled because it was snowy that day. So I think this one and the next one are the 2 indoor tribals. So just kind of had to make do. No fire pit, and I think usually the plan with fake idols is there's like a balcony because we don't actually have like a fire pit to throw it in. So I think we would yeet it over the balcony if we ever had another fake idol. I think that was the decided plan, but the trash can worked. And obviously Shane kind of goes down without too much, 4-2, with Heidi as the sole vote with him against Robbie. And we get Shane's exit words. Not much to say. I'm just kind of disappointed, rooting for his alliance, Heidi and Maddie from his original tribe. And to finish it off, Robbie's an asshole, he says. Poor Robbie. But I mean, not poor Robbie. He did kind of just like play with Shane, and Shane was kind of rightfully a bit ticked that all had to happen. And that gets us to the end of the episode. So let's get right to it. So just to overview the results of this episode, the results of the swap. Tell me, guys, who do you think is hot? Who's looking good at this swap? Whose game maybe is either still good or is improved? And who is not? Who is looking bad out of the swap or the result of this episode, or needs to step up their game if they're going to make it to the merge or any path to winning?
Right now, for each tribe, there's someone who's in the best position and someone who's clearly in the worst. For Taurasi, I think Bijan somehow made more friends and more power through this swap, so he's in an amazing position, the king up there. Kiwan, like we mentioned, is hosed from the beginning, so that's the Taurasi polls, and then all of the stuff in between. For Kemba, you got to think, even with the hate Robbie's gotten from people, he's not going anywhere right now. There's no clear path to vote him out. He has an idol no one knows about. He's very adept at it.
Bijan seems to know about it.
Bijan is a psychic. But Robbie, there's no clear paths to get him out. He's got an idol. He's good at challenges. He's good at making friends. Even with the enemies he's built up, he's not going anywhere soon. And then you've got Heidi, who has to kick it into desperation mode if she sees a way of going to another tribal on this tribe and it not being her. Like I don't see many paths for that to even be a possibility.
Yeah, I think definitely Heidi's in some trouble. I think potentially Matt could be in some trouble. I mean, I don't know if they're going to decide to do something if they lose and decide to spare Heidi. I don't know, but Matt could be in some trouble with 4 original red there. And then obviously Kiwan, as we said before, is in a bit of a tough spot. Bijan's definitely in a great spot right now. I think Robbie's in a good spot for now. I think at the merge, he's going to run into some trouble if he makes it there. But I think for now, I think those are the 2, Bijan and Robbie, that are front runners in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo basically everything that's been said. I think if Red doesn't have a majority when they merge, like, they're just, like, everyone's going to gang up against them. So their best bet is, honestly, I know, like, the challenge thrower haters are going to not like this, but their best bet is to just keep throwing challenges and save everyone, save Q1 on the other side, hope they merge and have, like, all 5 red still there. So I don't think that's going to happen, but that's probably their best bet, because if they don't, I think everyone's going to team up against them, which puts, yeah, like people were saying, probably Bijan in the best position.
I would agree.
She didn't get enough love. Being in exile this round, obviously, doesn't give her much screen time. But I think Kira being Robbie's number 2 in that whole pyramid scheme could definitely be advantageous, because if people get mad and cut from the top, it puts her in a position of power on top of that alliance, or just crumbles it, and then she has ability to move. She's not the initial target, you're thinking, at least.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
she's 100% in the best position within that little red group. Like, she's not the target. She's closest to Robbie, but she's also, I think, got the most connections outside of it in Edge. And I just don't think anyone else on red really has that strong of a connection outside of their tribe. So, yeah.
All right. And before we check out a few of the comments in the live feed, I want to ask you, Cooper, who is your winner pick after 3 episodes?
That's so tough. I feel like so stereotypical, but I feel like it's got to be Bijan. It's just like he's in such a good position. He has such good reads on the game. He just like understands it so well that I just don't see himself getting into a hole anytime soon, and he's just got connections everywhere. So he's probably the obvious pick, but I don't see anywhere better to go.
All right. So we
away. Bijan's
who,
great.
who did Anders say last week, Ethan? Did he say Bijan?
He either said Bijan or Matt. I don't remember which.
I think he said Matt.
Yeah, I think he said Matt. I've been following along with the comments on the side. Matt's been getting a lot of love.
Yeah, we had Luke with the Neil pick in the first episode. Maybe not the best choice from our boy Luke, but Matt and Bijan definitely doing a little better. And 3 picks in a row from this blue tribe. They seem to have something going on.
For being the tribe that couldn't win to save their lives at the beginning, just no idea what was happening. People love them.
All right, so let's get to a few comments briefly before we finish up. Chris wanted to say, Ryan, how could you do my eye candy Shane like that? I mean, I think Anders would agree, but I didn't do him dirty. It was Robbie. It was Robbie.
They get mad. It's a random swap. We don't stack nothing.
Let's see. We already saw this one from Andrea. Alex just wanted to say that CJ is a foot taller than him. CJ, you are a tall lad.
It didn't help. It did not help Alex in the season 1 idle hands. I think CJ smoked him.
Oh yeah.
Andrea wanted to say, is Kira Robbie's Amber? From a romantic perspective, no. Robbie had a girlfriend and still has a girlfriend. But I think from a dynamic duo perspective, possibly. They seem to have success so far. And Boston Robbie is definitely trying to barrel through this game. Maybe a little less suave than Boston Rob, but I can see the parallel. Jacob wanted to say the fake idol shenanigans are going to get back to Robbie, and it's definitely possible. It seems so far they've worked. And I think Anders pointed this out last week, but I think the problem with this, and I agree, is that his ally Kira has a fake idol. What happens when she plays that at some point? I mean, isn't she going to be like, what happens when Robbie plays his idol? Someone's going to be like, what the fuck? And then what do you do then?
As bad as the fake idol was this round, I think it was even worse giving Kira one. So
yeah, I would agree. I think this one at least had some. It's out of the game. It doesn't really matter anymore. But that one was not great.
Yeah, this one there was some thought, but the one I think he just really, really wanted to make a fake idol, and then he was okay with Kira finding it just because he was so excited.
Chris says winner Matt, runner up Adge, third Bijan. So Chris also high on that blue tribe.
Like the Verda boys.
They
run it.
That was the original alliance. That was the original alliance, right?
Yeah.
So I was about to say the final 3.
The bold take, Chris. Final 3s from day 1 don't usually end up as final 3s, but we'll see.
Heidi jumping in to defend herself. We were high off the idea, thinking we found a way to save Shane. It was a depressing week. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Definitely just hoping, but maybe not too good. And then Alex just wanted to say Ryan was breathing so hard before the fake idol play. I was very excited to throw in that trash can. And then Heidi wanted to say, We'll get to that one too. Heidi wanted to say happy birthday, Alex. It is
It
season
is
one's
Alex.
Alex's
Happy
birthday. Happy birthday. And then we have a few questions for Cooper, our guest, who's on the show. Cooper, do you know what a boss you are?
Wait, who was that from?
That was from Danielle F.
Just seeing if I knew the person. No. Do I know? Sort of. Sometimes. Sometimes I realize it. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes. That's my answer.
She also wanted to know, who is your favorite Survivor Michigan contestant from this past season, which she loves. I don't know if you can say that, but if you can, Danielle wants to know.
So favorite in real life and favorite on the show are two different questions. I'll go with favorite, like just watching back the show and like being there live when I was hosting. My favorite was probably Ben. Ben was hilarious, and literally every single confessional we got from him was gold, and he was never afraid to speak his mind. So every time he was on camera was absolute gold.
Yeah, it's definitely great, the people that are comfortable on the camera, regardless of how well they're playing. I think the people that really just are giving it their all, and obviously you want it from a gameplay perspective, but from a video perspective, it makes it a lot more enjoyable as a producer to watch your season like that, especially in real time. I feel like I get really hyped when I'm like filming like a Bijan confessional. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I'm excited for what's gonna happen next. Cooper, when you got your confessionals from Will and Rob from this past season, did you scream jackpot? They were great.
I'm assuming that means Will and Ben.
I think it was
Will and Ben, yes.
Yes.
She's got Boston Robbie on the mind.
I know. Every time production would like see something get uploaded in one of their folders, it was immediately just like everybody just like ran to go watch it. Like it was like, I'm sure like you have those people where you're just like, oh my god, they uploaded more content. Like you just can't wait to see it because it's amazing every time. So yes.
Andrea wanted to say, Cooper, please tell Andrew from the last season of Survivor Michigan he's her hero.
He's my hero too.
Yeah, he was absolutely robbed. You may or may not see him again in a future season of Survivor Michigan. So I would say keep watching. You might see him back. He may get a second chance because his first go around was tough in the moment to watch.
And then lastly, I think we'll end with Cooper. Will there be a Survivor Michigan All-Star season? Again, I'm not sure if you can say that, but he says, you guys are the standard. She says, sorry.
I guess I don't know whether I can confirm that, but I would say if you look around, most other college survivors do end up doing an all-star season or some kind of thing where they bring a lot of returners back. I don't know if you saw the trailer at the end of the season 3, but we are having at least some returners back for our 4th season, which will come out sometime early next year, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Don't kill me if it doesn't. So we bring people back, but I guess I can't fully confirm a full all-star season.
All right, and then we'll end with related. Ryan, will you guys do an all-star season? And I think it's a similar question. We're definitely going to have people return in some capacity at some point, and I think you guys will just have to check it out, and we'll have more information in the future. But for now, I think we're focused on our current season. And then one more, because I just saw another one earlier that I liked. Where is it? That's the only problem with these comments. It's hard to scroll. Ryan or Ethan, who's your favorite contestants you've had, and who do you think may be underestimated so far? So I won't comment on this season, but
okay. So season one.
One of my favorite. Yeah, season 1. A lot of great people there. I got to give a big shout out to the guy here tonight, my boy CJ. I think CJ was a thrill to have in season 1, And my favorite part about CJ is CJ, you're not like a very super extroverted person. You're not like what I would typically consider like a social player, but I think you still really excel in getting to know people, and you do a good job in balancing the social, strategic, physical game. Maybe not so much post-merge, the physical game when you needed it, but I think I loved how willing you were to make big moves, but also not in a Boston Robbie way necessarily, where you came off as this dramatic player, but it was still captivating, and I really liked it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I was gonna pick CJ. CJ, day one was a 17-year-old who rolled up and looked like he was maybe 14. He had his braces, and when we needed like dues for the club, he walks over to his dad to get like money from him. And I was
remember that.
I did pick him to be my winner at the start. Yeah, he isn't. I'm gonna talk about him like he's not here. He isn't the biggest like personality or dominating force in any moment, but CJ was absolutely involved in almost everything that happened. And I thought he played brilliantly for the whole time he was in there. Was super glad to have him in it. And who else? I don't know. My favorite from that season, outside of Mark, because Mark was one of my best friends going in already, probably Raph. Getting to know just this crazy guy from Australia who does the most amazing things and lives life way more than I could ever imagine. Was so cool to get to know him and still keep up with him. So shouts to Raph.
Well, I appreciate the love, guys. By the way, my favorite part about the whole experience was just getting to know everyone. Like, I appreciate Grandy shouting me out on that, but that's what it's all about, you know. And I was very happy to be a part of it. And Raph's my favorite, by the way, too, from my season. So shout out to Raph.
Look how adorable he is. How could he not be the best, guys?
I think we're gonna wrap things up here. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about or promote before we sign off, feel free. Going clockwise again. Ethan, you got anything?
No, I'm just gonna. I'm looking at the last couple comments and giggling a little. CJ does not get punched. We do love Doug. Doug is our hero of the opening 3-episode arc. And Earl is a delight. I wish we were able to keep better tabs on Earl because I loved Earl as well. Love for everyone who was in that season. They broke the ice and it was so much fun. So if you haven't seen season 1 yet, it's totally worth watching. And season 2 just keeps getting better. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I will say if you haven't seen season 3 of Survivor Michigan, go watch that. It was a fantastic season. Probably one of our most entertaining ones for sure. Great character. So go watch that. And actually tomorrow night we're doing like a finale recap of the whole season. So if you have seen the whole season, tune in tomorrow night. Survivor Michigan's YouTube.
Yeah, I just want to say I was happy to come on and talk about the episode and get to meet everybody. And nice to meet you, Cooper. And I'd be happy to do it again. So, yeah, it's great.
Always a pleasure, CJ. We are also still waiting for Issa and Megan confessionals.
It's true. They will probably never come. So that's going to be it for this live post show. Thank you guys for coming by. Just to plug some things, we have our Twitter at Survivor UConn. You get updates there. Definitely our Instagram at survivor.uconn. That's where we get our main updates and feed on everything throughout this season and postseason. Get your information there. We have a website which is linked in the description of the episode, and I think I have to update the description of this video. We have post-episode poll where I need to update the description too. I should put it in the description beforehand. I don't like to because I don't want people to get spoiled while the live premiere is watching, but I guess they wouldn't. But I'll fill out the post-episode poll that'll be in the description of this and the actual episode. And then also we have a Discord channel now, and there's Discord channels for a few college survivors now. If you guys are in the Reddit Discord, I can plug the invite to that in the comments as well. But you can discuss Survivor Michigan, Survivor UVA, Survivor Maryland, Survivor Syracuse, and now a Survivor UConn channel. All of the great things you guys are saying in the comments here. If you guys plug it there, you can incite more discussion about Survivor UConn, more discussion about Survivor Michigan. We love that kind of stuff because, especially on the Discord, I feel like it's even more personal, and people love to read that sort of stuff. I do, at least. But thank you guys for coming on. Ethan, always. CJ and Neil, was great from UConn. Thank you guys, and especially Cooper coming out from Survivor Michigan. We'd love to hear from our college community. But that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next week after episode 4. Have a good night.